Hey everyone! So in today's video, I'm going to be decluttering all of my cream highlights as well as my cream bronzers. I obviously really love cream products in general. I have an entire declutter of just cream blushes because that's like my true vice product. I definitely need to get rid of some of these. There are the favorites that I go back to over and over again, so I can get rid of some of the ones that I'm not reaching for now. If you enjoyed today's video, definitely make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I hope you'll subscribe if you enjoy it. We're gonna first start off with cream bronzers. So let's get a favorite out of the way. The Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer is one of my absolute favorite cream bronzers. If you want a very dewy bronzer look, this is an excellent product. I love it because it's not too pigmented, which makes it really easy to blend. It always looks very natural on the cheeks as well. This will give you like a true bronzed look without it looking like a thick, creamy bronzer. And that's something that you'll notice throughout this video is that I prefer my cream products to not look like cream products in the traditional sense. You think back to old school like Anastasia contour kit, those sort of really waxy cream products. I prefer my cream products to be creamy, easy to blend, and look like skin, look very natural, and this definitely checks all of the boxes. And I also always recommend this one because it is so affordable for the amount that you get. This is the shade Baked, and you get an entire 1 ounce in here. Look at how much I still have left. The value is amazing, and if you look at price per ounce, this is actually a better value than some drugstore options. So definitely top 3, such a great pick. Next, we have the Huda Beauty Tantour in the shade Fair specifically. So I was really excited to try this product out when I tried it during 1 week of cream bronzers. And if you're not familiar with that series, I reviewed a new cream bronzer on my channel for an entire week. So if you're into cream bronzers, I will leave that playlist link down below. But I was super excited about this one because in the past, I have tried the Chanel Tan de Soleil, and I actually did not like it. I found it to be kind of patchy. I wasn't a huge fan of the color, so I was really hoping that this was going to work out better for me. Now, I know there are a lot of people out there that swear by this. They really enjoy the product, but I just haven't been really impressed with it. I don't think that it's a bad product. It is actually quite pigmented, so if you like a more pigmented cream product, I think you'll like this. And I also do like that there are multiple shades, but this one isn't my absolute favorite, so I will be passing this one along. Next, we have the Organic Wear Sculpting Bronzer from Physicians Formula. When this came out, I was really excited to see what Physicians Formula was going to do with this bronzer because I love the butter bronzer, and Physicians Formula just really hit it out of the park with that formula. So I was excited to see what they would do with the formula with a cream. And I have to say, I am a really big fan of this one. This actually reminds me quite a bit of the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer. It's slightly less dewy. There are also multiple shades of this. I have the lightest shade, and in general, I really like this one for travel. I think the formula is more of like a medium pigmentation to light pigmentation, really easy to blend, and it's not going to be too dewy. So if you prefer something a little bit more dewy, I would go with the Milk Makeup. If you want something slightly more on the natural side, a little bit less dewy, I think that this is a great option. And also, if you just want to dabble into cream bronzers and you want a very low risk investment, I think that this is a great option. You get a lot less product than something like the Milk, but it is only around $10. So always something to keep in mind. I'm definitely keeping this one. All right, we have this Hourglass palette. This is the Illume Sheer Trio. I'm sorry that this is so grody. I didn't think to clean it before this video. I included this within the bronzer section because I do think that the most people talk about the use of the bronzer rather than the blush and the highlight. So talking about the bronzer, if you can tell from the product that I've used the most, I actually am not a huge fan of it. I did find it to look a little bit choppy on my cheeks. Some days it would look really good. I just never got the consistency that I wanted from the product. And if you're new to my channel, that is incredibly important to me, that the products I invest in, especially something expensive like the Hourglass, I really want the product to be consistent. I want to be able to go back to it no matter what the day. If I'm in a rush, put a brush in and then apply it to the cheeks, and it looks the same every time. Those are the products I always go back to, and those are the ones I always recommend to you guys. So unfortunately, I don't feel like this bronzer has been that for me. Now, I will say, this blush is absolutely gorgeous. Let me turn down the lights so you can get a better idea of what the blush shade is. It is so, so pretty. And the highlight shade is gorgeous as well. Now, I can only use this in the summer because unfortunately it's a little bit too dark. I'm going to keep this just for the blush, basically. I could have included this in my big cream blush declutter, but I really wanted to touch on that bronzer. So I will be keeping this. Another palette that I will be passing along is this Makeup Forever palette. This is the Pro Sculpting palette. This really has barely been touched. I really do like the contour shade, and I think it blends okay. I do like the cream highlight as well. It is pretty. I don't think it's anything super special though. The formula is not awful, but I don't think it's worth the investment in my opinion. So I will be passing that along. Next, we have the Hollywood Contour Wand from Charlotte Tilbury. This is one that I will be keeping, but I will not be repurchasing. This is really great if you're looking for an extremely natural cream contour. I'm telling you, like extremely natural. This blends out really, really easily. Anyone who mentions this product, I feel like has complained about this applicator, and this is why. This is what happens in the tube. It gets very messy. I hope Charlotte Tilbury decides to change its packaging. So you can see I have a little bit on my hand, and this just blends effortlessly on the skin. You can see how easy that was to blend, and it creates a very natural bronzy contour look. I don't think this is extremely gray toned, which some people might like, some people might not. Very, very natural. I tend to not reach for it as much because I go for more of like a true bronzer product more often, but I do like to have this on hand when I want a more sculpted look. It's not very often, but so just to have one contour product on hand, I will be keeping this. Next, we have the Nude's Matte All Over Face Color in Bondi Bae. This is definitely a product that a lot of people talk about, a lot of people truly love. I think that this is a great product. I actually have a video comparing this to the Milk makeup. If you're interested in that, I will leave it linked down below. If you're looking for a matte formula, so it's gonna look very matte on the skin. I think if you're looking for a cream product while having like oily skin or combination skin, something like this is really going to be your best friend. Lasts really long on the skin because it's quite pigmented, but I don't find this to be an extremely hard product to blend out. It shears out in a way that I really enjoy. And in general, I feel like this formula in itself is extremely unique. I haven't found a formula quite like it. It's hard to find a matte cream product that isn't waxy, that doesn't look choppy or thick on the skin. And Nudestix really did well with this formula, so I will be keeping this. One that I might even like more than the Nudestix is the Fenty Matchstix. Mine is in the shade Mocha. This I have definitely gotten a ton of use out of since I tried it out. So something I really enjoy about these, that it is an extremely thin product. And I love when products are thin because I can build them up. Rather than with a thick product, it's harder to work with. I have to go very lightly with it. When I work with this, I can work in very thin layers and I end up getting a very natural look to my skin. This looks like real bronzed skin whenever I wear it. It looks incredibly natural, very lightweight on the skin, and it lasts. This definitely will last all day on my skin. Excellent, natural, and everyday product, so I'm absolutely keeping this. And lastly, for the cream bronzers, I have the Make Dewpot in Bronze 1. This to me is like a bronze cream gloss for the skin. There it is at the top. You see how like glossy and dewy that is. It is certainly not a product that I would go for every look all the time. But if I feel like my skin really needs a pick-me-up and I want that really ultra dewy look, this is a really great option. And it's also quite sheer. It also could be one of those products that you just layer in specific areas. So you could go in with something like the Fenty Matchstick and then apply this just to certain areas that you want to kind of bring light to and sculpt out on the face. That is kind of how I use it. I tend to not use it completely on its own, but I don't mind it completely on its own either. I think this product is excellent if you really, really love super dewy looks, if you love face glosses. I think the product is certainly unique, so I will be keeping that. Okay, so let's just start with, I think, one of my absolute favorite cream highlights. This is the Hollywood Beauty Light Wand from Charlotte Tilbury. This is the original shade in Spotlight. It's truly like an extremely unique product. And I say that from the perspective of someone that has tried quite a few cream highlights. This just gives something different to the cheeks when you actually apply it. So you can see there how the light just loves to just beam off of it, but it still looks very natural on the skin. There's nothing that looks heavy when you apply this, which is really my pet peeve with highlights in general. Only thing, again, I don't like is the applicator. But I will say that I always look past it with this product in specific because it wears for a decent amount of time on my skin. The light reflection is so pretty and unique, so I'm definitely keeping that one. One that I'll be passing along is this Flesh Beauty Highlight in Startle. There is nothing wrong with this. I actually think the product is pretty good. You can see it right there. It's really pretty. I like that this formula is on the thinner side. It doesn't really last on my skin the way I want it to. I always end up reaching for something like the Charlotte Tilbury over this. And I also think that the shade is just a little bit too light for me. Maybe it's just a little bit too white. I will be passing that along, though I do like it. One that I will be keeping when I want a super, super blingy highlight. It's Colourpop Flexitarian. This isn't one that I reach for a ton, I'll be honest, because it is an extremely potent highlight. You really don't need much at all. But if I want something that really is going to make an impact and that it's definitely a look, you know, whenever you're wearing this, but you can see there, it will give you a very, very intense glow. This will look like highlight on your skin. But the formula, you know, if you've tried the Super Shock line, it's still very thin and it's not going to look extremely textured on the skin. Now, something like this will reflect back any pores that you have, but it's definitely not one of those products that looks really chunky on the skin by any means. So I haven't really found another product that gives you this intense of a glow while also not looking super chunky. So I will be keeping this just kind of for special occasions. Next we have this little Trestique sample. I actually really liked this cream highlight. It's the mini highlighting stick. Like I said before, I actually really enjoyed this, but I just am not finding that I'm reaching for it. The formula is very silky and I think the sheen is really natural and pretty. So I would recommend the Trestique formula. I'm actually kind of interested in seeing what the cream blushes are like, but for this one, I know I'm not really getting much use out of it, so I'm going to pass that along. I'm also going to pass along the Physicians Formula Organic Wear Highlight. I didn't find this to be really anything we haven't seen before. It's not a very unique product to me, and you can see it's right there. I don't think that it's a bad product, but it's definitely not one that I would recommend you go out of your way for. I'm much more impressed with the cream bronzers, so I will be passing this along. Next, we have an old favorite, the Marc Jacobs Do You Dewdrops. I was a really big fan of these when they came out, and the only reason I'm not keeping them is this is definitely way too old for me to keep now. But if you're looking for a really pretty, kind of like champagne pop-esque cream highlight, this is awesome. It lasts a really long time on the skin as well. It gives you a really shiny effect, but it also doesn't look really crepey or drying on the skin. I've gotten a lot of use out of this and I've really enjoyed it, but it's definitely time to pass it along and say goodbye. I've definitely found that if I use products that are expired on my cheeks, I will break out. So I'm definitely erring on the side of cautions. Next, we have the Terracota Nude highlight from Guerlain. I'm actually quite a fan of this. If you're looking for a cream highlight with a punch, but you still prefer the stick format and you don't want any glitter, this has been really pretty and nice. I've used it quite often. The only thing I don't like about it is it's pretty heavily fragranced, which is not my favorite. But I have been going back to it and enjoying it when I want a cream highlight with just a little bit more oomph. So I will be keeping that. Another absolute favorite, Charlotte Tilbury really does highlights well. It is the Hollywood Flawless Filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I have the shade number 1, and you know, you can use this in a lot of different ways. You can use it under foundation, you can use it over foundation, you can use it mixed into foundation. I have been finding that I absolutely love this product to give me a no highlight look. Whenever I want my highlight to just look like really healthy skin, this tends to be the one that I go for. I also really like that there's a slight tint to it that kind of blends into the foundation even better than you would expect because of that. This is definitely a no highlight product, no makeup that is elevated, and I really enjoy the product for that reason. So I will be keeping that. Product that I do enjoy but will be decluttering is the Liquid Glow from Anastasia in the shade Perla. I really did enjoy this for the time that I had it. This gives you an ultra dewy sheen to your skin, and I really enjoy that about it. It's also not too thick. The product is quite liquidy, so I've found that it really blends out onto the skin in a pretty way. My hands are going to be completely covered in highlight after this. The only real reason I'm getting rid of it is because it's old, and one thing that I don't like about it is that it doesn't really last on my skin. It's definitely more like a 4-hour wear product. I will be passing that along. A product I'm definitely keeping is the Becca Glow Glaze Stick. I've done an entire review on this product because I think it's one that's super unique. This has like a very, very slight tint to it, but you'll see it really just translates as like a very sheeny glaze look. If you're a fan of products like the Glossier Halo Scope, this to me is definitely in the same vein, but this really doesn't have a tint to it. So you can wear it completely on its own with no makeup. It will just look like your skin is naturally dewy. So this is really great to add dew back into the places that you feel like you're missing it. This will look like your skin is naturally dewy. And I think it's an incredibly unique product because it doesn't feel sticky on the skin the way that a lot of other face glosses have in the past, for me at least. So I will be keeping that. A product that I will be decluttering, even though I don't want to, is the Smashbox LA Lights Blendable Lip and Cheek Color and Hollywood and Highlight. This really is an incredible underrated cream highlight. If they still make this, I absolutely recommend it wholeheartedly. Actually, maybe even more than the Guerlain. The formula is so fresh and pretty. It lasts on the skin as well, which I think is great. But really the reason I like it is because it's so blendable. It looks like skin. You're going to get a compliment when you're wearing this product that your skin looks good, not necessarily that your highlight looks good. So that's always something that I'm looking for. And lastly, we have the Night Shine from Glossier. This is the highlighting concentrate. This is the shade Pale Pearl. This is certainly a unique product. I think if you want a very intense highlight look with a cream or liquid product, this is definitely the way to go. I don't reach for it a ton anymore, only because I've been going for something more like the Hollywood Flawless Filter, but I understand that not everyone wants a no makeup highlight every day of their life. I really enjoy this one when I'm going for that look though, so I will be keeping this. But again, my style is definitely leaning more towards something like this at the moment. So these are all of the cream bronzers and highlights that I'm keeping. And over here are all the ones that I'm giving away. I really hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, definitely make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And I hope you'll subscribe and check out some of my other videos. And with all of that, I will see you in my next one.